go, no go for launch. Booster.
Go.
Retro.
Go.
Vital.
We go fly.
Guidance.
Guidance go.
Surgeon.
Go fly.
Ecom.
We're go fly.
GNC.
We're go.
Telmu.
Go.
Control.
Go fly.
Procedures.
Go.
Inco.
Go.
FAO.
We are go.
Network.
Go.
Recovery.
Go.
Capcom.
We're go fly.
Launch control, this is Houston. We are go for launch.
Valuable minerals, precious metals, and soon diamonds, hydrates, and other goodies in the rings that surround so many worlds in our galaxy. So, you want to be a miner? Mr. Moo here to talk about what you're going to need for converting rubble into riches. Mining equipment isn't cheap. The A4 refinery runs nearly 4.6 million credits, which is why we'll be using the C4 refinery today. And putting together a ship big enough to make it worth your while can also be a bit of an issue, but hopefully these build tips will help you give you some ideas about your own mining vessel and hoping to strike it rich out in the rocks. At this point, I'd like to note that I'm recording from the 2.1 beta versus the live build, as this is representative of what the new construction and outfitting screens will look like. However, all prices are discounted by 90% to allow for beta experimentation. I'll provide a price-adjusted link to the ship I'm assembling down below in the description. So, what's the best ship for mining? That's tricky. Depends on a lot of individual preferences and factors. But for me, it's a mix of the number of modules, the size of the modules, if you have enough cargo space to make it worth your time. When it comes down to it, my preferred starting mining ship would probably be the Cobra Mark IV. Let's get going into the shipyard and begin the construction process. Not too impressive on paper, but it's just about everything you need for a starting light mining vessel. What will I need? Well, you're going to want at least one mining laser, cargo racks, a refinery, at least one collector limpet controller, and a prospector limpet controller. And once we get rolled around into the hangar, the outfitting bay, and start the construction process. So where do you buy a ship like this? Well, ships and equipment availability, that varies by system. But the general rule is, systems with high-tech economies are your best bet for outfitting. The higher population, the better. Industrial systems can work to a lesser degree, but high-tech or industrial, there's always going to be some element of hunting around. Rogi.co.uk has an elite dangerous area with a helpful tool to find where to buy starships, and again, I'll provide a link down below. So let's get this thing built. Hard points.
Hard points.
Thank you, Kix. I won't be needing you at the moment, so go ahead and take a rest. My co-pilot Kix, ever helpful, occasionally intrusive, but she is a whole lot more valuable than troublesome, so yeah, I like having her around. So the medium hard points. I prefer to have the mining lasers in the medium. The reasoning behind that is the 3 small laser hard points on the Cobra 4 be enough to handle smaller enemy ships, and even with reduced ability, the Cobra 4 can usually outrun bigger ships. There we are, mining lasers. I'm still having my own trouble finding my way around it, so just so you know. Okay, mining laser 2D, bye. Now, same thing for this one. And then I would just stick gimbaled pulse lasers into the trio of small hardpoints. Interesting hardpoint locations on the Cobra 4. They are all on the dorsal surface as opposed to the two small mounts on the ventral surface of the Cobra 3. Interesting little aside there. It means your underside will be a little bit more vulnerable. Utility mounts, I would suggest at least one chaff launcher to throw off enemy targeting in case you have to make a run. And I would also suggest, given the prevalence of missiles, torpedoes, and the good old-fashioned hatchbreaker limpet, that you put on at least one point defense turret. Okay, so let's throw up the design that I have here. Alright. Hardpoints are set, utility mounts are set. Let's go for the core internals. Now I'm trying to build as low power a ship, as low cost a ship as I can for the new buyers out here. The power plant will be running today is a 4C. Thrusters are going to be 4B because you still do want to be able to make an escape if you have to. But those can be swapped out for much more affordable, much cheaper thrusters if need be. Frameshift drive. We're running a 4D. Now these may be upgraded if need be. What are we looking at here for jump range? 9.74 light years? Well, let's at least get into the double digits. There we go. The 4C. Now the life support system, that's going to be a 3D, just for weight savings. Power distributor will be a 3D. You may need to go up on this if you're finding it's not sufficient for your mining laser needs. But we'll see how this goes. Sensors, again 3Ds for weight. D-class equipment is always the lightest weight. And the fuel tank, the standard 4C. Alright, so here we go with the cargo. You're going to want, let's see here, Class 4 cargo racks in the Class 4 bays, in 2 of them anyway. Now this one, just because the Cobra 4 is a little bit slower and a little bit, a little bit slower, a little bit less defensible, I guess I'd say. You're going to want better shields in this. So keep the Class 4, at least one of the Class 4 bays for your shield generator. And why can I not buy a shield generator? Ah, because it's right there. Alright. It was already in place and I missed it. Alright, slightly upgrade it to a 4D. A little bit stronger, and you get a good weight savings. The final Class 4 bay, you are going to want a refinery. Let's see here now. Where are we? Refineries, I had it right there. And in this case, we are going to be running the 4C. If you can swing a 4B, go ahead and take it. That should carry everything you need in terms of number of bins for a metallic asteroid belt. But if price is your priority, then the 4C is the right mix of what you're going to want. In the Class 3 bay, we are going to be picking up collector limpets. A pair of Class 3D limpet controllers. Class 2, you can put in another cargo rack. Which brings cargo capacity up to 36 tons. And then in the last slot, you are going to want a prospecting limpet controller. And I would suggest the Class 1A. Looks like we have power for everything. Looks like we're ready to go on this ship. And see what's available on the paint jobs, just because. I prefer not. Alright, next up, the hard points. How do I set up my hard points? Well, I prefer Fire Group 1 to be my go-to for self-defense. And so I would put all the pulse lasers on trigger 1 of Fire Group 1. And if you aren't sure about how to set up the individual buttons for the chaff launchers, I would just set up the chaff launcher as trigger 2 on Fire Group 1. Fire Groups 2 and 3, those are going to be mining. The lasers are set to trigger 1 in both cases, and trigger 2 is either the prospector or the collectors, depending. I like Fire Group 2 to be my prospector, and I like Fire Group 3 to be my collectors. And again, I can't emphasize enough, it's good to have a chaff launcher, and most likely a point defense turret as well. Nothing adds insult to injury like being forced away from a promising rock, and getting your existing cargo stolen out of your cargo bay at the same time. So, before we launch, and also, let's see here, I will set up a link in the comments below, or in the description of the video, or where you can find information on where to find the best metallic rings relative to the system you are in. So, why mining? When you buy a commodity at one station, let's head for Delcar here. There we go. Interrupting myself here while I plot a route. The rings of Delcar 7 are very good. So we target Delcar 7, we plot a route. And then you can see on the A ring, it's metallic, that's the inner ring. And the B ring, the outer ring, is rocky. We're going to be wanting the metallic rings. Kicks back online. Hello, Kicks.
Landing coupler disengaged. You're clear to leave.
Thank you, Tower. Retract gear. Free and clear to navigate. On our way. So, why mining? There's no middleman. When you buy a commodity at one station, make your jump to another system, super cruise to your destination, land, sell, most commanders will be lucky to see more than 800 credits per ton of profit. You can trade rare commodities, but that's a lot more travel time, and in some ways requires a much more specialized and upgraded vessel than your basic mining ship. With mining, if you can find a system with metallic rings, and as I said before, I'll link a guide to them below in the description, the 3 lowest quality minerals will sell for at least 1,500 credits per ton, and the rest are going to sell for considerably more. 2. It doesn't require top-end upgrades. A basic exploration ship, they're going to need a top-end jump drive, a good fuel scoop, around 1.75 million credits worth of sensor equipment alone. Don't get me wrong, it's a noble, romantic profession, but if you're in it to make fantastic riches, you're going to be really disappointed, and regardless, you're going to have to start out with a fairly sizable chunk of change first anyway. 3. It's as relaxing or as intense as you like. Sometimes you want to go out and have frantic ship-to-ship combat. Sometimes you just want to go out, relax, listen to music, and figuratively pick up money off the ground. Mining doesn't stress. You pick your own pace, you determine how many pirate interruptions you want, depending on if you decide to go for low, standard, high, or hazardous resource sites. In fact, you don't even have to go to a resource extraction site. You can drop down in the rings anywhere you want and just enjoy some quiet time. Need to stop by Decamp Orbital and pick up some limpets. Or, if you have a friend interested in winging up and making money, you can have a bodyguard and go into the extraction sites. Interesting thing is that mining and bounty hunting have a very symbiotic relationship. The miner will attract pirates, the bounty hunter will collect the rewards for the pirates. The miner can swing around and open fire as well, collecting a percentage of the bounty, because remember, from my bounty hunting tutorial, it only takes 1 hit to help get credit. And, collect a good percentage of the bounty there. Then when the miner sells their findings, the wingman is given a bonus equal to 5% of the money made by the miner. This isn't taken from the miner, this is more of a bodyguard incentive paid out by the Pilots Federation. So if you make if you make 100,000 credits off of something, your buddy's going to make an extra $5,000 on top. Good win-win kind of situation, especially if you've got a full wing of friends who just go nuts in the rings, blowing pirates away left, right, and center, and you you just happily hoover up all the minerals and possibly all the items now, not the commodities, the materials that ships can drop. Then you can help distribute those to your friends. So it's very, to have somebody with a set of collector limpets running in the middle of an active battle zone is a very, very handy thing these days, especially, after 2.1 lands. So we're going to turn in here at Decamp Orbital just to pick up a load of limpets. Let's see, that's on the... Okay. Let's turn the head track back on to get a good look around. All things considered, me and my crew may have to move back to the Delcar system. Much closer proximity to all the engineers.
We've prepared a landing pad for your arrival, Commander. Welcome to our station.
Falcon Delacy, Kilo, Yankee Lima, request landing clearance.
Initiating.
Access granted. Set down on landing pad 04.
Copy that, Tower. Landing pad 04. Now, while this is a very, very unmodified Cobra Mark IV, it can still fit on small landing pads, which is another advantage for the small-time miner trying to sell things at stations that, little stations and outposts that may be in the system where they find rings. Medium landing pads are always at a premium on the smaller outposts, and large landing pads don't even exist.
Attention, deploy landing gear.
Copy, Tower.
Landing complete. Commence system shutdown. Enjoy your visit, Commander.
Alright, so limpets. Say fill up about 40%. So let's see here. 15, 16.
We request that pilots avoid blocking access to docking pads.
This is a lot of trial and error in this point. At this point, you want to set course for Delcar 7.
We advise commanders
There we
to
are.
be aware of your speed whilst in and around the sun.
Get spun around and away we go.
Ship released. Restrict speed until clear of the station perimeter.
Retract gear.
Raising landing gear.
Alright, let's get going, and I will see you in the rings. Okay, a few minutes flight time later, and we are approaching the A ring of Delcar 7. There's the high-intensity resource extraction site, which we are going to, well, we're going to bypass, and perform what amounts to a very low-speed, very controlled collision with the rings in another section. Let's drop speed, keep it below 1 megameter per second. That's entry speed for dropping out of warp, and it works here too. Alright, time to mine. Master arm is on. Cargo bay is open. Set 3-2.
Done, Commander.
There are a few ships around here. I'm going to see if they are... if I can get a lock on them. See if they're hostile or not. They don't seem to be following me, which is good. I appreciate that. And it looks like he's actually mining based upon that new fragment that appeared. New sensor contact. So, mining. Now it's a matter of point and click. Aim your ship at a rock. Deploy a prospector drone.
Programming limpet drone.
And then target the limpet. When it impacts a rock, it'll tell you the rock's composition. If it's a rock you want to mine, close to mining laser range, deploy the collectors, and open fire. And we'll see if this guy's worth it for the trouble.
Prospector limpet engaged.
23% indite, 17% bertrandite, and low material content. So that is not looking like a rock we want to actually harvest. The material content is new. That's something I've not seen before. And we're probably going to get that in all the rocks out here because they're outside of the high yield or the high intensity resource sites. The previous prospector failed because the controller can only handle one at a time. So now we're locking onto the new one.
Prospector limpet engaged.
These are new materials. I've never seen samarium or praseodymium before. So this is going to be a learning experience for all of us.
Cargo scoop deployed.
Close to mining laser range. Deploy the collectors.
Programming limpet drone. Programming limpet drone. Programming limpet drone. Programming limpet drone.
And fire. As you can see, this power distributor cannot handle the power of 2 medium mining lasers, so let's shut one of them down and just fire off the one. You can see the minerals remaining count on the lower left. Wait for the capacitor to recharge. It's also collecting iron, which is a material for synthesis. This is another new thing. Now you can do materials collection in the rings instead of just on the planet. So players that have the standard Elite Dangerous without the Horizons upgrade will now be able to synthesize from materials collected. And it looks like in this build we're going to have to go and upgrade the power distributor a bit. Or switch to lower powered class 1 mining lasers. Multiple lasers will blast chunks off the rock faster. Alright, let's see what we got for that, for our time here. Well, now you can see the local prices here. 3 tons of indite at 2,300 credits per ton. 1 ton of praseodymium which I've never seen before. I'll have to look up that on the commodities market once we get back to the station. And 2 tons of samarium. So we fire off another prospector.
Prospector limpet engaged.
31% samarium. I think that's decent. So what we do is we roll around here until we match the axis. That way a big chunk of rock can't come flying out of the great beyond and delete your collectors from existence. This looks like it's relatively close to the axis of rotation. I'll just use my thrusters to adjust a little bit more. And it is awful hard to judge the axis on a lot of these sometimes. We are definitely going to need a bigger distributor. So in the refinery, you can see the bins here. The 7 bins for elements. If they get full, if you have 7 bins full of various elements and an 8th element gets added, you're going to have to figure out which element you want to sacrifice out of that hopper to make room for the new one. Now I'll show here how that is done. 42%. The hopper is full of 42% full of indite. That's the way I want to phrase that. Now it's 49%. And if you wanted to, just select it, pull the trigger on it, and purge the hopper. Let's go find a better rock. Let's find higher quality stuff.
Prospector limpet engaged.
Trandite and indite is not it. Now, given the limited cargo capacity and limited drone carriage of this ship, it may befit miners to actually just pick the first thing they see and kind of pick it up from there. 36% indite, allied. kind of the battle of beggars versus choosers. As I'm burning through prospector limpets very rapidly. On the smaller vessels, there just isn't enough prospector drones that you can pick up other stuff. Now, maybe I underfilled. Here we go. It's also entirely possible that I underfilled the amount of limpet drones I should have been carrying. But that's the trial and error kind of nature of mining, especially in an unfamiliar ship that you're not quite remembering how well it carried. And here we have a refinery full, which shouldn't be the case. Sometimes it does like to throw up false flags that the refinery is full or that it can't handle. It's at full capacity, and that is in fact not what's actually happening. Even in the 34th century, machinery likes to kind of grumble. Machinery wants to grumble.
Asteroid defeated. Collector limpet expired. Collector limpet expired. Collector limpet expired.
And all the collectors just blew up because their time limit, their 10-minute time limit expired.
Programming limpet drone. Programming limpet drone. Programming limpet drone.
There we go. Deployed 4 more. One prospector drone left.
Cargo scoop retracted.
Let's see what you are.
Cargo scoop deployed. Programming limpet drone. Prospector limpet engaged.
41% Presidinium. That looks like a decent haul. The closer you can get to the rock, the shorter the distance your drones have to travel. Faster you pick up materials. Keep in mind, if you target a specific fragment, a collector will burn all of its remaining fuel to go grab it, sacrifice itself for high-speed collection. To avoid that, keep the prospector limpet targeted, because this will also tell you the percentage of the ore remaining in the current rock. And there's actually chunks bouncing off the hull now. There's still 40% material remaining in this rock. This could fill the holdup.
Asteroid depleted.
Huh? 35 of 36 tons. I'm going to call that a win. Powered engines.
Routine.
So-
Scoop retracted.
Once your hold is full, pick a station. Either dump it off at the nearest station. Let's see. Nearest station would be here in Vergary. As I was saying, you could either dump it off at the nearest station in system, or you can go hunting for systems that pay more. I prefer the former. Depending on location, it's not really time effective to go jumping off looking for perfection when good enough is right there in the same system. Okay, we've just passed out of range of the prospector. So that failed after it lost connection to the computer. And why did that happen? I'm passing away from the rings. Let's try that again. Could be a beta bug, too. That's better. So somebody contacted me just before we jumped back in. Decon. Yep, big haul. Decon is an elite Diamondback scout pilot who's trying to pirate me. So, yep, there he is trying to get on my tail. Two ways he can handle this. He's in a Diamondback scout, he's going to be fast. You can try to outrun his, once he goes for the interdiction, try to beat it on the escape vector, which I'm going to try to do. There we go. And then the escape vector goes wonky like that. Alright, here we go. Follow the escape vector and try to force him into real space while you stay at warp. If it looks like you aren't going to be able to make it, if that red bar climbs all the way to the top, if it looks like you aren't going to be able to make it, throttle back and submit to the interdiction. Like this.
Hull integrity compromised.
And it still wasn't enough. Come on, hold it together. Set 3-2.
Adjusting. Under attack.
So we got a fight on our hands. Come on, give me something here. He tried to ram me. Set 3-1. Set 3-1.
Adjusting.
Try to fly in reverse and see if that doesn't throw him a little bit. I was able to get a good bite out of him on that pass. Other ships are arriving in the zone, and they are the local police. And he's got a plasma cannon as well. Lovely. Okay, he's also got... Okay, here's how we're going to play this. We're going to fly in towards the locals. Shields are about to collapse. Set 3-2. Given the state of the shields, they weren't going to be anyway in time to finish this fight. So let's just throw it into the engines. And he is tearing me up pretty hard. Guys. Eat him up here. Thank you.
You are most welcome.
Not you.
Destroyed.
Power to systems.
Roger.
And an extra 44 grand on top for our troubles. Along with materials.
Shields online.
So this is what a manual pickup is, without the benefit of collector limpets. Power to engines.
Routing.
Back to warp we go, and hopefully no more trouble on the way to Invergary. This is why it's always good to have a little bit of combat experience, as I mentioned in the So You Want to Be a Bounty Hunter tutorial that I posted a few days back. Especially in a big, heavy, supposedly multi-role, but really more of a small cargo ship kind of build. Now, post-fight analysis, one of the things I did wrong was I did not trigger my chaff cells. And that was a mistake on my part, and one that could have been costly had the cops not arrived when they did. Try to approach a station if you can by putting yourself between the planet and the station. Station docking bay entrances are generally faced towards the planet, or at least in that particular hemisphere. And this will significantly reduce docking times. Very handy for if you're trying to avoid somebody chasing you, or if you're trying to move some goods that fell off the back of a Type 9. Now, in case anybody is wondering, the voice interface I'm using is not standard with the game.
Welcome to this independent station, Commander. Please fly safely during arrival and departure.
Falcon to Lacey, Kilo, Yankee Lima, request docking clearance.
Requesting docking permission.
The program I'm using is a app called Voice Attack, which is for sale for, I believe, just under or actually at $10 on the dot. And for the versatility it gives to the game, it is very, very handy, and there are plenty of fan-made mods that give computers...
You are in breach of station regulations, Commander. Trespassers will not be tolerated.
I thought I had docking clearance, and in fact I did not. Too busy talking. Falcon to Lacey, Kilo, Yankee Lima, request landing clearance.
Docking request initiated.
Why was it not? Manually, then.
Request approved. Prep for arrival on landing badge 01.
May need to be some adjustments made to voice attack to counter the new changes made in the game. Still, nothing...
400 meters from touchdown.
Nothing that a little observation and quick reflexes can't fix.
Warning, landing
And maybe not talking while flying. But, hazards of the job.
Contact. Commence system shutdown. Enjoy your visit, Commander.
Okay, 400 credits in repairs, 30 credits in refueling, 500 credits in fines, 44,000 credits in bounties. And check the bulletin board as well. Some stations will offer mining missions that pay incredible markup versus market price. 2 tons of painite will get you between 66 and 75 grand on the market. Or you can take a mining mission for it and make 200 grand for those same 2 tons. Let's check the mission board and see what is up. Okay. No missions available from any of these individuals. That is interesting. I'm going to chalk that up to a beta bug, actually. Okay, checking the commodities market. Praseodymium, they are offering 7,100 credits for this, and the galactic average is 6,500. Samarium, they're offering 6,300, and the galactic average is 5,700. So this is actually a very good station to sell at. Let's see what we made here. So we're sitting at, let's call it 389 million credits. Okay, so the Praseodymium will net 92, almost 93 grand. The Samarium will get 88 grand. 93, 88. $16, 93, 88, 16, and 13. And that's what a quick mining excursion will get you in a Cobra Mark IV. And all of these commodities do count towards your trade rank, which is another valuable reason to mine versus commodity trading. There you have it, Mining 101 for the starting commander. Fly safe, and good hunting, whatever your choice of target may be.